Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty, the Supreme Commander of Armed Forces, confers Oman Military Order 2nd Class to His Excellency, the Chief of General Staff of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Omani industry marks its annual day by multiplying its contribution in gross domestic product to 5.5 billion Omani riyals. And Education Council discusses offering new tracks of vocational education and training, as well as amendments in the system of granting land plots to private higher education institutions. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, Supreme Commander of Armed Forces, conferred Oman Military Order 2nd Class to His Excellency General Abdurrahman bin Saleh Al Baniyan, Chief of General Staff of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in recognition of his efforts and contributions in strengthening bonds of military cooperation existing between the two countries. The order was presented by His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Saud bin Harib Al Busaidi, Minister responsible for Defence Affairs, in his office at Beit al-Falaj camp this morning, when he received His Excellency the Chief of General Staff of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who is currently on a several-day visit to the Sultanate. During the meeting, they viewed military cooperation between the two countries within the context of the Cooperation Council and ways of strengthening and upgrading them. His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Masood As-Sunaidi, Minister of Commerce and Industry, met today with the Omani industrialists in Muscat on the occasion of celebrating the Omani Industry Day. He stressed during the meeting that the industrial activities has contributed with almost 5.497 billion Omani riyals by the end of 2013 in gross domestic product GPD in the current prices of 3.267 billion riyals. As for the transformation industries, including basic chemical materials industry and related ones, he said that the transformation industries has contributed with 11.6% from the total of GDP, which estimated at 30.06 billion riyals, expecting that the 9th five-year plan to have new motivation to expand the existing industries and establish new ones. He indicated that the number of industrial sector companies listed in Muscat securities market by the end of 2013 reached 48 at market value of 1,940 million Omani riyals and achieved profits of 113 million riyals, as at 5.8% expected to the same time in 2014. The minister said that the Omanis working directly in the industrial sector by end of 2014 are 11% of those working in the private sector. The Minister of Commerce and Industries affirmed that the industrial areas under the public establishment for industrial estates attracted local and foreign investments during the past years. The number of factories grew by 4.2% at the first half of 2014 compared to 2013 to hit 1,468. The statistics of the National Center for Statistics and Information showed the double of contribution percentage of industrial activities of the gross domestic product of 2013. 2012 statistics showed that the number of those working in industrial facilities reached 71,430, of which Omanis represented 31%. The Sultanate investments in industrial activities witnessed a remarkable increase during the last years to exceed 26 billion Omani riyals during 2013. Education Council discussed in its today's meeting perspective of offering new tracks of vocational education and training and decided to refer to the specialized bodies for study. The Ministry of Manpower offered during the meeting a visual presentation regarding these tracks of vocational education diploma for technological education and diploma and general vocational education diploma for general education diploma, vocational apprenticeship program, short courses program, and a program for people with special needs with the aim to increase absorbing outputs of a general education diploma and contribution in training and qualifying cadres working in various vocational works. The Council discussed amendments in the system of controlling land plots, granting for private higher education institutions, control and mechanisms of commercial investments on government lands granted to these institutions and provided by the Ministry of Higher Education. The meeting was presided over by Her Excellency Dr. Rawiya bint Saud Al-Busaidiya, Minister of Higher Education and Vice Chairperson of the Council. Still to come in our news bulletin. The competition of rifle shooting is concluded in the wilaya of Saham with the participation of shooters from various governorates of the Sultanate. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. View of March of relations between the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was at the focus of the meeting of His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed al-Nu'mani, Minister of Royal Office, with His Excellency General Abdul Rahman bin Saleh al-Baniyan, Chief of General Staff of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. During the meeting, they had cordial talks and discussed a number of issues of common concern for both countries, as well as a number of matters of mutual interest. His Excellency General Abdul Rahman bin Saleh al-Baniyan, Chief of General Staff of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and his delegation visited Sultan's Armed Forces Museum. They toured its various sections and acquainted with historical manuscripts and miniatures which related to Oman and listened to a briefing on modernization attained to Sultan's armed forces during the glorious reign of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, Supreme Commander of Armed Forces. Discussion of means of strengthening parliamentary relations between the Sultanate and Iraq, as well as to lay foundations for further future cooperation at various levels, were at focus of the meeting of His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfoud al-Manthari, Chairman of the State Council, with His Excellency Dr. Ibrahim al-Jafari, Foreign Minister of Iraq. During the meeting, they also discussed matters of mutual concern and ways of developing them. The chairperson of the State Council praised the existing cooperation as well as brotherly historical ties between the two countries. The two sides stressed the importance of activating cooperation at all levels to achieve hopes and aspirations of both countries. His Excellency Ahmed bin Yusuf Al-Harthi, Under-Secretary of the Foreign Ministry for Diplomatic Affairs, today received His Excellency Dr. Ibrahim Al-Jafari, Foreign Minister of Iraq, within the framework of his official visit to the Sultanate. The meeting discussed aspects of the bilateral cooperation between the two brotherly countries and means of enhancing them in various areas, as well as exchanging viewpoints on the regional and international issues of common concern. His Excellency, the Foreign Minister of Iraq, stressed on the good and strong relations throughout history between the Sultanate and Iraq, as well as praised the political modernization of the Sultanate through building bridges of cooperation with all countries on the basis of a development of common interests, pointing to the Sultan's pivotal role in the governance of views in the region. This came during the opening ceremony of the new headquarters of the Iraqi embassy in Muscat. He also pointed out the Omani positive position towards the Iraqi people during the crisis recently experienced by Iraq and hoped to open wider horizons for joint cooperation in various fields between the two countries. His Excellency Rashid bin Asafi Al-Kharaibi, chairman of the tender board, met a number of entrepreneurs at the board premises. During the meeting, they discussed the opportunities of participation of small and medium-sized enterprises in various projects according to the board's procedures and facilitations to support such enterprises. The meeting also reviewed specialization of a tender board as well as its Secretariat General. Air Vice Marshal Matar bin Ali Al-Abidani, commander of a Royal Air Force of Oman, received in his office at Muaskar Al-Murtafah today a delegation from the Command and Staff College of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, currently visiting the Sultanate. During the meeting, they exchanged viewpoints and discussed a number of matters of common concern. Rear Admiral Abdullah bin Khamis al-Raisi, commander of the Royal Navy of Oman, received in his office at Muaskar al-Murtafah today a delegation from the Command and Staff College of Jordan, currently visiting the Sultanate. During the meeting, they exchanged a cordial conversation and discussed a number of matters of common concern. More than 80 employees of technicians and administrators who work at the Directorate General for Agriculture and Livestock and its departments in the wilayas of the Governorate of Al-Dhahira participated in the training program for combating fires, security and vocational safety. The training program came within plans and programs of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries Wealth in trained and qualified employees and workers in crisis management and facing emergency cases. The program included practical and theoretical explanation in dealing with crisis. In the wilaya of Saham, the competition of rifle shooting concluded with the participation of shooters from various governorates of the Sultanate. Competitions varied among individual level team of heavy and light rifle. The competition accompanied with reciting poems and some Omani singing arts. It was presided over by His Excellency Musallim bin Ali Al-Busaidi, advisor of the state. Now for the general weather forecast. Partly cloudy skies will prevail over the governorate of Musandam and areas overlooking the Sea of Oman with chances of scattered rain, and rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with chances of clouds in the governorates of Dhofar, Wusta and South Sharqiya. Winds will be easterly to southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be moderate to rough along the coast sea of Oman with a maximum wave height of 2.5 meters, while it will be moderate along the coast of Arabian Sea with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty, the Supreme Commander of Armed Forces, confers the Oman Military Order, second class, to His Excellency, the Chief of General Staff of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Omani industry marks its annual day by multiplying its contribution in gross domestic product to 5.5 billion Omani riyals. And Education Council discusses offering new tracks of vocational education and training, as well as amendments in the system of granting land plots to private higher education institutions. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the studio and the newsroom, it's good night.